He ran. The billionaire, Adrian Cole, sprinted through the marble hallway like a man chasing a ghost. His heart hammered against his ribs as he shouted for his wife, "Maria! Maria, come quick!" His voice cracked with something between fear and impossible hope. Moments later, he burst into his son's room, breathless, watching Liam, his 8-year-old boy who had never heard a single sound since the day he was born, tilt his head toward the maid as if he was listening. The maid, Elena, held something small in her trembling hands, something she had just placed behind Liam's ear. Liam blinked up at her, wide-eyed, as though the world had shifted under his feet. Adrian froze at the doorway, unable to move, terrified that if he spoke, the fragile miracle would shatter. He could only whisper, "What did you do to him?" He ran. The billionaire, Adrian Cole, sprinted through the marble hallway like a man chasing a ghost. His heart hammered against his ribs as he shouted for his wife, "Maria! Maria, come quick!" His voice cracked with something between fear and impossible hope. Moments later, he burst into his son's room, breathless, watching Liam, his 8-year-old boy who had never heard a single sound since the day he was born, tilt his head toward the maid as if he was listening. The maid, Elena, held something small in her trembling hands, something she had just placed behind Liam's ear. Liam blinked up at her, wide-eyed, as though the world had shifted under his feet. Adrian froze at the doorway, unable to move, terrified that if he spoke, the fragile miracle would shatter. He could only whisper, What did you do to him?" Elena worked quietly, watching everything, especially Liam. She paid attention to details that everyone else had missed for years. She noticed how he would press his palms against walls to feel vibrations, how he would stop whatever he was doing whenever a truck passed by outside, even though he couldn't hear the noise, how he tapped the floors with his fingertips, as if searching for sound in the only way he could understand. One afternoon, she watched him tap a rhythm she recognized instantly, a rhythm her younger brother had repeated endlessly as a child before he was healed. Her breath caught in her chest. Her hands trembled. She dropped the cloth she was folding. "No," she whispered to herself. "It can't be the same. Not here. Not this boy." But the signs were unmistakable. Liam didn't have classic deafness. Elena had seen these symptoms before, symptoms the modern medical world had never been able to explain. For days, she wrestled with herself. Should she speak up? Could she dare? What would a billionaire think of a village superstition passed down from generations of healers? She had been mocked for it before, fired for it before, called delusional. But every time she looked at Liam's soft hazel eyes, so full of confusion and longing, something inside her whispered, "You cannot stay silent." The evening the miracle happened, the house was unusually quiet. Maria had gone to lie down after another exhausting argument with Adrian about the next doctor's appointment. Liam was sitting by the window, staring at the garden, lost in his own silent universe. Elena felt her heart pounding as she approached him. Her fingers shook slightly as she opened her wooden box. Inside lay the carved pendant, smooth, warm, crafted from a rare mineral found only in her region. Her grandmother had called it the stone that awakens the sleeping ear. She lifted it gently and kneeled in front of Liam. He looked at her curiously, tilting his head the way he always did when trying to understand people's expressions. She smiled softly, trying to reassure him. "It's okay," she said, even though she knew he couldn't hear. "You're safe." She placed the pendant behind his ear, making sure it rested at the point her grandmother had taught her. She inhaled, whispered a chant her village used for generations, a chant meant to harmonize the stone's frequency with the body. For a moment, nothing happened. Then everything changed. Liam flinched as if struck by a sudden gust of wind. His eyes widened in pure shock. He turned toward Elena, focusing on her lips, then her eyes, then her voice, her actual voice, reaching him faintly for the first time in his life. His small mouth trembled. He touched his ears. Then he whispered one broken, fragile word that shattered Elena's composure. Ma. Not mama. Not yet. But sound. Real sound. Elena's breath collapsed into a sob. Tears spilled down her cheeks uncontrollably. Liam stared at her in wonder, trying to repeat the sound, trying to chase the miracle that was washing over him. That was when Adrian stormed in and saw the impossible. "What did you do to my son?" he demanded again, voice shaking. He wasn't shouting out of anger. It was disbelief, desperation, hope so sharp it was painful. Elena didn't answer immediately. She was still crying, clutching the pendant like it was her lifeline. Liam turned toward the doorway, surprised by his father's loud voice, another new sound. But instead of fear, he leaned toward it. Adrian saw that, and his chest tightened. For 8 years, his boy had never reacted to anything he said. To see Liam respond now, it was too much. His knees nearly buckled. He staggered forward, whispering, "Liam, Liam, can you hear me?" Liam stared at him intently, trying to process the vibration of the voice. He raised his small hand and touched Adrian's throat, feeling the vibrations. The recognition hit him. His eyes widened with joy. Adrian broke. He dropped to his knees and pulled Liam into a trembling embrace. "Oh, God. Oh, my God," he whispered over and over, tears pouring freely. When he finally looked up at Elena, his voice was raw. Tell me how this is happening." Elena swallowed hard, wiping her face. "It's not something a hospital would understand," she said softly. "But I do. My family has seen this before." Adrian stared at her like a man watching the universe fold in front of him. "Explain, please." And she knew there was no turning back now. Elena took a shaky breath and held the pendant between her fingers as if it anchored her. She knew the truth would sound insane to a billionaire who lived by science and logic. But she also knew what she saw, the miracle already unfolding in front of them. She couldn't deny it now. "When my brother was a child," she began quietly, "he had the same symptoms. Exactly the same. Everyone believed he was deaf. Doctors said his auditory nerves were damaged beyond repair." Her voice trembled. "But in my village, we have old knowledge, old methods. My grandmother taught us that some forms of deafness aren't about the ears. They're about blocked frequencies inside the body." Adrian frowned, overwhelmed but listening. Liam clung to his shirt, still marveling at the sensations around him. He looked from his father to Elena, confused, yet amazed by the subtle vibrations of their voices. Elena continued, her voice gaining strength. "This stone behind his ear, it's carved from a mineral that vibrates at the same frequency the blocked nerves respond to. It's not magic. It's resonance. When placed correctly, it awakens the dormant pathways." Adrian stared at the pendant, trying to reconcile science with the supernatural. He wanted to challenge her, question every detail, demand proof. But his son was hearing. That was the proof. "What happens if you remove it?" he asked cautiously. Elena hesitated. "We should test gently, not all at once." But Adrian was already reaching forward. His emotions were too raw, too desperate. He needed to know it wasn't just a coincidence. He lifted the pendant from behind Liam's ear. Instantly, Liam flinched. His eyes darted around, the faint sounds vanishing. He gasped softly. No sound came out, but the panic was clear. He grabbed at his ears, searching for the miracle that had disappeared. Adrian's heart cracked. He quickly placed the pendant back. Liam blinked, a soft intake of breath. Then a tiny, shaky laugh slipped from his lips. More vibration than sound, but enough to make Adrian and Elena freeze. "It works," Adrian whispered. tears blurring his vision. God, it really works. Maria appeared in the doorway at that moment, drawn by the unusual noise. She froze too. Her breath caught when she saw her son reacting to sounds. She pressed a hand to her mouth, her entire body trembling. "Elena," she choked out. "What? What did you do?" Elena repeated everything, her voice softer now, gentler, as if speaking to a mother's fragile heart. Maria listened without interrupting, tears streaming freely. When Elena finished, Maria stepped forward and hugged her. A real hug, a desperate one. "You saved my child," she whispered. "I don't care what anyone says. You saved him." Adrian looked at Elena with new eyes, not as an employee, not as someone beneath him, but as the person who gave his son the thing money never could. But the moment of peace didn't last long. Hope had awakened something else inside Adrian too. Fear. Fear of losing the miracle. Fear of being unable to control it. He straightened, wiped his face, and said, "I'll pay you anything you want. Just give me the pendant." Elena stepped back instantly, clutching it. "No," she said firmly. "It's not for sale. It's not a toy for the rich to own. It is meant to heal, not to be locked away or misused." Adrian's jaw tightened. Years of power made him unaccustomed to hearing the word no. "Do you have any idea what this is worth?" "Yes," Elena shot back. "A child's future. That's why you can't buy it." Maria moved quickly between them. "Adrian, stop. She's right." The tension crackled in the air. Fear, desperation, gratitude, all mixed into one storm. Liam tugged Adrian's sleeve gently, seeking sound again. His small voice wavered, broken but determined. "Da, da." Adrian shattered. The fight drained out of him. He fell to his knees again, hugging Liam until the boy giggled softly, delighted by the vibrations his own laughter made. Elena watched them with tears in her eyes. "Please," Maria whispered to her, "stay with us. Help him. Teach us. We won't force anything from you. We just want our son to have a chance." Elena hesitated, then nodded. Days turned to weeks. Liam's progress stunned everyone. With careful guidance, with the pendant placed correctly and used gradually, he learned to identify new sounds. Footsteps, water, music, even laughter. Every milestone brought fresh tears and joy into the mansion. He wasn't just hearing, he was living. And if you're still watching this story right now, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment to support the channel. Your engagement helps more stories reach more people. Liam's life transformed, but so did Adrian's. His arrogance softened. His priorities shifted. Maria found peace again. And Elena, quiet, humble, powerful Elena, became part of their family forever. Some miracles don't come from doctors or technology. Sometimes they come from the most unexpected hands. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you subscribe, like, and share your thoughts below. More breathtaking stories are on the way.